Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here, and today we're going to do an overview for those of you that are current and or prospective referral partners, and also talk about leads, how easy it is to get leads. I'm going to literally show you where to get leads for free. Let's start with a quick overview of the cheapbusinessaddress.com website so we can go through who we are, what we do. We'll certainly talk about what's in it for you as a referral partner. And again, then we'll talk about leads, and I'll show you specifically how to get as many leads as you want for free. So on cheapbusinessaddress.com, simple website, right? Just 4 pages. Homepage, get instant access, frequently asked questions, become a referral partner. So on the home page, we explain, why does every business need a unique business address? Well, I think what you and I know, it's just not all entrepreneurs know, that we need to be credible. To access capital, we need to meet certain credibility standards. Now, different sources of capital have different standards they're looking for, but without doubt, having a true business commercial address improves the credibility of your business and increases access to capital. There's no question about that. And in fact, many banks and lenders do not accept residential or post office box addresses. And where a lot of people have gone to these shared addresses through virtual offices, those are typically red flagged as well. So simply put, for a small business owner to have credibility, especially if they want to access capital under their EIN without using their social security number, for credibility, you need a unique suite number that's not used by others. And as the example I gave earlier this week, you could be in Trump Tower and there's lots and lots of suites. So everyone having the same street address is fine, but we must have a unique suite number. Otherwise, it does not have the credibility, because the world realizes, and especially lenders and where you're applying for credit and capital, realize that there's multiple businesses using a single address. So we need a unique address. So that's the why. Secondly, we talk about the free business credit building program. We're not charging to build business credit. We don't charge a fee up front. We don't charge a performance fee. It's just a perk of using the cheap business address program. We educate that accessing credit under your EIN without the use of your social security number is a smart thing to do. If you've got bad credit, well, you really need to use your business credit. If you've got great personal credit, you probably don't want to put that in harm's way. So it makes sense to access credit under the EIN, but you have to meet credibility standards, such as having a unique address. So what we're going to do is help them get their business positioned, as well as start opening trade lines quickly. And in fact, we expect to be able to generate the first $5,000 to $10,000 of business credit within the first month with them. And again, we're not charging them for that. We can continue to build the business credit profile, build tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of business credit under the EIN. At the bottom of this page, we explain what is included, and we're very transparent about the price. Now, we're charging the $99 per month. You can attach an application fee or a processing fee, and that's how you get paid. Typically, we see our referral partners are charging anywhere from $100 up to $500 as an application fee. So when you generate the lead, you charge them, you collect the application fee, and then you're going to submit the client into us to implement. And I'll show you where to do that in just a moment. But the value proposition includes a unique business address. And we know that address matters, right? Where you choose to have your business is going to determine your state income tax, which we won't have any in our model, and also what type of funding programs you qualify for. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Of course, we're going to scan and mail their, scan and email their mail that comes in. As I mentioned, the free business credit building assistance. And a really big deal is the Chapman Fund. So the Chapman Fund is from a taxing authority. So what that means is they will only loan money to to businesses in their taxing authority district. If you're outside of it, then there is no funding. And so it's a great program. It goes from 30 up to 250,000 to start or grow a business. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit on the frequently asked questions. So that's a quick overview of the homepage. The instant access is where we're directing our prospects to. You won't necessarily direct your prospects here as a referral partner. I'll show you that in just a moment, but this is just a summary page where we're going to drive our prospects. And where you're going to drive your prospects is on the referral partner page. So if you're not a referral partner, this is where you'll want to go. We have the training videos, we have the flyer that you can download that's been uploaded, but this is specifically where you will submit the clients that you have generated. So in other words, you've approached them, you've collected, if you want to, a deposit, or I'm sorry, a processing fee or a documentation fee. You've received that, and then you're going to submit their information in here. And then what we'll do is then send them the packet to get started. There's really not a contract per se for them to use the cheap business address program, but we do need to get them set up. And that's what will happen after you submit them here. We will set them up via an Adobe template email. So if you have not watched these two videos, you'll certainly want to. Also, the frequently asked questions, which I skipped over. So we've really only seen a few questions that come up on a regular basis. The first of which, and we're going to go through each of these. The first is, well, I already have a business. Now, if they already have a business and they have a unique commercial address, then they probably don't have a problem that you and I can help them solve, right? So it's probably not worth discussion. But I can tell you that frequently small businesses are set up and they're not set up correctly. Let me give you examples. Maybe they set it up with a residential address or with a post office box. Maybe the business has been around, they're not filing taxes because there's been no activity. Maybe the business has been around several years and it's never generated any profit. And frankly, it's easier, as we jokingly call it, hit the reset button and set up a brand new entity to go access capital off of. You might say, well, isn't that costly? No, I mean, in Texas, you can form a corporation for $25 through the Secretary of State. So they're out of pocket $25, then we'll help them get their EIN, and then they'll open their business bank account. So what are they out? $25 to hit the reset button to start a new business. Now, if they want to continue to use their current business and still participate and get a cheap business address through us, that's fine as well. But I think what you'll typically see is that they'll form a new business specifically for the capital raise process. Now, alternatively, you'll have sometimes the question that's on the other end of the spectrum. Hey, I don't even have a business yet. Can this work for me? And the answer is absolutely. And just as I mentioned, we can help them get a new corporation filed for as little as $25. That's what the Secretary of State charges. And then get the EIN, which is free and easy, and get their business bank account, just as I said. Why does location matter? Well, first, location matters because you want to have a unique business address. We've clarified having a shared address, bad. Using residential address, bad. Using a post office box, bad. So that we need to help them establish credibility and legitimacy to increase access to capital. Second, where you choose your address impacts how you're taxed. There's only a handful of states in the United States that do not have a corporate income tax. And Texas is one of those, which is where we'll be providing their unique address. And then third, as I hinted towards a moment ago, where you form your business is going to impact your access to tax subsidized programs like the Chapman Fund. And we've gotten a lot of questions off the Chapman Fund. So we went ahead and added that to the frequently asked questions. So it's a revolving loan fund available only to businesses in our specific area. Provides a minimum of 30, a maximum of 250,000. But I'll tell you, often we can stack this with SBA or non-SBA loans. So the capital raise could be much higher than 250,000, but at this time, the Chapman Fund will only fund themselves up to $250,000, which I know that's going to disappoint some of your clients. Some of your clients are going to say, I need more, but this could be the first tranche. It can be used for getting fixed assets, new construction, renovations, leased property, equipment, inventory, and working capital. And what's really amazing is in some instances, it can be set up where it's used as the equity injection. Because what do you and I know? If you want to go get an SBA loan, will the SBA loan 100%? No, they won't. No, they won't. You have to bring some money to the table to get an SBA loan. And frankly, for most business loans, they do not want to finance 100%. So we need to set up some tranches of capital. And how that's set up will determine if it meets lender compliance standards or not. In this case, it will. So the Chapman Fund can literally be served as an equity injection to be able to get those larger loans. And then ultimately, low down payment and long terms, repayment terms, which makes the payments lower. Okay, so the first objective today was to visit with you, our current and prospective referral partners, to make sure you knew about the resource site, Cheap Business Address. I'm not suggesting that you're going to drive people to the site. What you would want to do is to assimilate this information, introduce it, and again, I'm going to show you where to get leads, and that's our next topic coming up in just a moment. And then what you'll want to do is collect the processing fee or the deposit or the application fee, whatever you want to call it. You're going to collect that from them. You're going to determine how much it is. You'll probably get to use Cash App or Zelle or Venmo, however you want to collect money. And typically we're seeing our referral partners charging between $99 and $500. That is up to you. You're going to set that and collect that from the client, and then you're going to submit them right here, and then we're off and going. Okay, so now we've covered the resource site. If there's questions on that, let me know. Now let's go over to topic number 2, leads. So I set up yesterday, specifically in preparation for today's training, a demo account with Data Axle. Now you can go set up a free one too. If you're a member of a library, typically you can use your library card, go through the library's portal, and be able to use this free on an unlimited ongoing basis. If you're not a member of a library, then you can always go directly to Data Axle. It used to be called Sales Genie. Sometimes it's been called Reference USA, but it's all the same. It's a big repository of businesses. I'm going to show you how to use it. So Reggie, I see you're on the call today. Reggie, will you type into the Q&A which county and state you live in? And anyone else, if you want to type in your county and state, I'll use it as part of our live examples. Now, I'm not going to share it with the rest of the world. No one's going to get your leads, but I'll show you specifically so it's applicable. So if anyone wants to type in to the Q&A, the county and state that you live in, or the county and state that you want to focus on developing small business relationships, then I can pull that up. Okay. So there's a couple different databases within Data Axle Sales Genie. I really like the new businesses, but all businesses are in the U.S. business database. We're going to focus on U.S. new businesses because it's kind of the sweet spot in my opinion. So what we want to do is find leads to be able to contact. Well, there are different filters over on the left-hand side, and one of the best filters is right here, home-based businesses. Well, why would that be? Well, they don't have a commercial address. They're home-based. So they have limited access to capital because they're home-based. So that's a great filter. And then we can go in and filter on others, such as geography. So for instance, Kevin is in Wake County, North Carolina. So we'll go down to North Carolina. We'll type in Wake rather than me going all the way down. Okay, and then we're going to hit run search. And so we have 11,638 new businesses that are home-based. I'll tell you what, though, what I'd like to do is filter a little bit more, because frankly, I think that's too large of a number to work off of. What if we went and filtered off of time frame. Scrolling down here, and let's say that we look at those that have just formed in the past. I will start the past month, and we'll run a search. 973. So if that's consistent, which I don't know if it is or not, but on average, Kevin has about 1,000, 973 in this case, but about 1,000 new home-based businesses starting every month. If I were Kevin, this would be my target audience. Now, the downside is, depending upon the source of the database, there may or may not be phone numbers. And so in that case, we may want to add another filter to it, because here we're getting the company names, the contact, the address, but we'd almost have to do a postcard type of campaign here because we're not getting a phone number off of it. And we can, well, I guess only one phone number out of 973, and that's going to just be subject to where they're getting this data from. So I would prefer to have those with phone numbers. So what we could do is we could go back to the filters, and what we could do is, let's look at contact information. We'll make sure we have phone number, only companies with phone numbers. And so we may have to change our search a little bit, because if these are, for instance, coming from DBA or assumed name filings, if that data is not being transferred, then the phone numbers aren't there. So we only have one. So what we may want to do, because of the way that that county is reporting into Sales Genie and not reporting phone numbers, we're probably going to want to change our geography. So why don't we drop the county and go to the state and see how that turns out. So we'll go to North Carolina, we'll run search. We have 59 in the past month, but maybe we want to open it up a little bit more. And let's see, we were on business details, time frame. Let's go down here and look over the past 6 months, run search. Now we got 227. So what you can see is you can go in and play with it. If you're going to do a postcard campaign, the address is fine. But if you're going to reach out to them, obviously the phone number is pretty darn important. Through this system, they do not provide email addresses. But I'll tell you what, getting the phone number and texting them is far superior to emailing them anyway. So I wouldn't worry about not having emails. I would text them and try to generate a response back. And I know that's one of the questions that Reggie had, as far as, well, what's the scripting? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But let's go ahead and do another one. So we have Warren in Brevard County, Florida. So we'll go to Florida. We'll run a search, 1497 to work off of. Let's see here. We have Oklahoma. Reggie's in Oklahoma. So we'll get rid of Florida. So anytime you're adding filters, make sure you're removing the prior as you add new ones. Otherwise, it'll be the cumulative amount. Hit run search, only 72 there. And so we can look at the other database and pull not just new home-based businesses. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So let's go back to the main page. We're going to search for leads. We're not going to just focus on new. Now we're going to focus on US businesses. And so we'll go ahead and choose the same geography we started with Kevin. So we'll do Wake County, Florida. Why is, oh, North Carolina. That's my mistake, sorry. North Carolina. Wake County. Okay, so this is all the businesses in the database, 59,000, but we didn't filter off of home-based, but you don't have to. But, you know, who's our best target audience if we're trying to help them become more credible with a commercial business address? It'd be those that don't have it yet, right? So then we can do home-based business, hit run search. He's got 6,700. And it certainly seems that a good number of those have phone numbers, but we'll go ahead and hit the filter on that, which was, where was the filter for the phone number? That was business type, business size, business details, executives are, activities that they have, the records, contact information. There we go. Phone numbers. Run search. Well, that's not bad, right? So he's in Wake County, Florida. Kevin has 6,705 home-based businesses, including, well, apparently not all of them have their phone numbers. So I don't know how that happened, because we hit phone number as a filter, I thought. Maybe I didn't hit that properly. Oh, there we go. That was my mistake, sorry. So 3,475, so I stand corrected. So the bottom line is, if you want free leads, you can get them, I guess, however you want. We have no financial interest in Data Axle, Sales Genie, Reference USA, whatever you want to call them. But you can certainly go to their website, get a free trial, download a bunch and export it to your computer. If you want to keep using them, they're going to charge you. But many libraries, through their business resources or online databases, will allow you to log in through the library's website using your library number and be able to use it on an ongoing basis for free. So who has any questions about using this system to generate leads? Excuse me, had a sneeze sneak in there. Anyone have any questions on this? So we certainly, I guess, could, sorry, I have no sneeze. Fighting off allergy, I guess, but I guess hypothetically, we could go run all these leads for you, but it's not that difficult for you to do. And it's a good exercise because you're able to apply the filters to get the leads that you want. Okay, so what have we covered? We've covered the new resource site, cheapbusinessaddress.com, whereby you can be a referral partner and make some money up front, typically up to $500. All you're doing is expressing the value proposition. You're going to collect the application fee if you want to charge one, and then you're going to submit them here. Obviously, many of these people will be really ripe, really good prospects to move into the full access to capital or capital ready program if you're an affiliate partner on those platforms as well. And so that's extra value you can provide, another problem that you can solve, and extra commissions. But this is a great way that anyone can go out and start earning an extra few $100s or a few $1,000s a week, supplementing their income by doing this. So we're going to talk about scripts in just a second, but who has questions regarding the process? All right, Warren asked as far as where to start. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you could pick anywhere, because my recommendation is to text them, and we'll talk about some recommended strategies in just a second. But frankly, you can operate nationally, so you're not limited to your city, your county, or even your state. Kwong's asking about signing up. So we're making it real simple to be a referral partner. And the answer is there's no sign up, there's no contract, there's no fee. If you want to be a referral partner, really all you need to do, watch the 2 videos so you know what you're doing. You got a flyer here if you want to use it. We showed you how to generate leads. I know a lot of you already have leads on your own or relationships. And so then what you do is you pitch it to them, you collect a deposit if you're going to collect a deposit or a processing fee, whatever you want to call that, and then you submit them right here. There is no sign up. We made it super simple because frankly, we're not paying you. You're collecting the application fee and you're keeping 100% of that. So that makes it really, really simple. Okay, so again, Reggie's holding my feet to the fire on scripting, so I'm happy to help you with that. Oh, and Kwong was asking about signing up for Sales Genie. Yeah, so you can go to, well, let's try typing it, salesgenie.com, and it's going to flip you over to Data Axle, and then you can do the try us. So that's the answer, try us free. And then once you sign up for the free trial, then you'll log in. It'll tell you how many days you have left, and then you can do these same things that we've just illustrated. Okay, so let's get down to Reggie's concern. So Reggie's like, okay, I see the need, I see the opportunity. Now I know where to get the prospects. I've got their phone numbers. Most of the phone numbers are going to be mobile numbers, so you'll be able to text them. What am I going to do? Well, what you're going to want to do is just use small key phrases, Reggie and others, and ask them to respond back to you, because you're going to want to talk to them. They're going to be concerned that it's not real, it's too good to be true, it's not legitimate. So you're going to have the best success if you text them a brief message. And we can talk about messages in just a second. But you're going to want to text them, have them respond to you. And what do you need to know? You really don't need to know anything other than what's on this simple resource site. This is it. Now, if they come up with other questions, we can always build the FAQ. We're here to support you, but it should be pretty simple. So what are little blurbs that you might text them to try to generate a response? Well, here's a pretty good one. A true business commercial address improves the credibility of your business, increases your access to capital. Text me back to learn how, right? You could do that. You could lead with free business credit building. Text me back and I'll tell you how. And so as a marketer, you're essentially educating them and motivating them to take the next step. And the next step is just simply, it's not to sign up, it's to respond to you so you can connect with them human to human. And then you can give them a quick overview. You're certainly welcome to use the resource site here, but ultimately your call to action then after that is to collect the application fee, whatever amount you've decided to collect. And once you've done that, then you're ready to submit them in. And it's really just that simple. So that's correct, Warren. So the revenue that you're making off of this is off the application fee. So the nice thing, Warren, is you're getting it up front. You're getting it instantly. They're paying you directly. You are not waiting for it. Now, if you want to become a white label partner and you want to do a revenue split, then you can become a white label partner and we can do a revenue split off of this. But other than that, it's the upfront application fee. And I know some of you say, well, man, for $500, if I got to spend 15 minutes to make $500, I'm not going to do it. I can go make $500 in 15 minutes doing something else. But then there's some of our distribution partners that an extra $1,000 a week would make a difference between them being able to pay their bills or not, or getting their other affairs in order. Okay, so who has any questions on what we're doing with the cheap business address? We've covered what the value proposition is to the client, which it's unmatched. We've explained the resource for becoming a referral partner. There's no sign up, real simple. Watch the videos, promote, and submit. And then we've gone through, if you don't have another source of leads where you can go get almost an unlimited number of leads by either tapping into the US business database or the new businesses, and you can play with the filters. It'll generate results. There's, I guess, 15 million businesses in here, but of course, like AT&T is in here. So, they don't need a commercial address. So what you're going to want to do most likely is filter off of home-based businesses. And we can see how many there are in the database total. It's going to process that number. Now, if you're thinking about using this as a resource to promote access to capital or capital ready, then they don't need to be home-based, of course. But for this campaign, home-based businesses is your sweet spot. But the answer is there's 1.3 million. So that is a lot. Okay, so who else has any questions on? Okay, Dion wants to target certain careers. Yeah, so you can go in and choose industries, major industry groups or SIC codes. You can certainly do that, Dion. So that's available to you. The script is what we just covered, Reggie. It's typically doing a text campaign using key terms from the home page here, and you'll be able to text it to them using the phone number that you found in Data Axle. Kwong's asking about timeline. So our goal is to get them $5,000 to $10,000. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. $5,000 to $10,000 of business credit in the first 30 days. And so that's what we put on the website. That's our plan. That's very attainable. So now we can continue to build beyond that. But if they're out of pocket $99 for their first month, and they've already generated $5,000 to $10,000 of business credit, I think they're going to be pleased as punch. All right. And let's see, Warren says, I already have an established office address. However, my client's cheap business address, not virtual, if it's in their county. But I don't think I understand your question, but you're right. There's other resources for them to get a commercial address. You know, number one, they could go out and buy a building. And secondly, they could go truly lease space. But most of the other options end up being red flagged. So a lot of people will get a post office box. That doesn't work. They'll use a residential address. That's not acceptable. Or they'll get a shared address where it's the same address used by multiple businesses, and that is not credible either. All right, so Leo's interested in getting funding from the Chapman Fund. So absolutely, so we can go back over to FAQ. The Chapman Fund is outstanding. Again, the business has to be domiciled in the right geographic area because the Chapman Fund is tax supported. And so, Leo, yeah, as long as we get your business set up or any business set up through this process, then we're in the right geographic area to tap into the Chapman Fund. And the Chapman Fund, it's a loan program. It's not a gift, but it's certainly my opinion, and I think it's fact, but I'll just state as my opinion, the underwriting is lesser for the Chapman Fund than it would be traditional loans. Therefore, more people can get access to more capital, which makes sense because this is money that they're looking to invest. It's not Chase or Wells Fargo and making a bunch of other decisions based upon stockholders and stock share prices. This is specifically meant to fund to start and grow small businesses in the targeted community. Warren asked, is this a virtual office? No, it's a real office. It's not a virtual office. And that's important. So now they're not going to be able to come use it. So it's an office address. Let me clarify that. But it's a true office, which makes a difference in credibility. Kwong asks if he can enroll himself. Of course, yeah. So if you're enrolling yourself, you could just simply go right here and fill this out. If you're submitting clients / leads, then you're going to want to send them through this page here. All right, let's see. Do all the clients need to register with the address? Leo, I'm not sure about that question, but yes, anyone that's going to be going through the cheap business address offering then needs to be loaded into the system, right? And if they're coming to us directly, we normally will just use this simple landing page. But if it's anyone that you're generating, you're going to use this landing page, because this is going to let us know that you've most likely collected an application fee from them, which is fine. You set the amount, you keep it, but that's why there's two different portals that both go into the database. But this is direct, and then this is through a referral partner. Regina's talking about Regis, and that's right. It's really difficult for those shared office whereby there's not a dedicated unique address. It usually does not meet the credibility requirements. And I'll give you an example why, and this may be going a bit deep. In some cases, when you apply for a business loan, they want to know, do you have a lease? And they want to see a copy of the lease. Well, we produce a lease for our clients. It'll be for a specific unique address where they can send and receive mail from. They will have an office lease that meets lender compliance standards. If you just have a shared office space at Regis or WeWork or wherever else, that is hardly ever going to meet the criteria of the lender. It's just not seen as credible in their eyes any longer. Okay, let's see. Helen's getting to a good question, and I'm going to go back over to the frequently asked FAQ. So typically people are going to fall into one of two categories. The second one is the simplest. Hey, I haven't formed my business yet. Can you help me? And the answer is yes. So we're going to get the address set up. And we covered this in the training yesterday, right? There's 4 steps to set up a business. Get your address first, file the entity with the Secretary of State second, third, get the EIN, fourth, get the bank account. Very important to do it in the correct order. So for those folks that are brand new or starting a brand new business, that's the simplest, right? So then they sign up, they use this address, you collect the application fee, and we take them through those 4 steps. But that really wasn't Helen's question. Helen's question is the other. So here you've got someone that already has a business. And in her case, her example, the client has a business in Florida. So the first thing normally you would ask is, well, is your business set up properly in Florida? For example, do you have the same address on file with the IRS, with the state, and with your bank? Are you current on your tax returns? Do you have a bank account open? Are you showing profit for your business? If they have those things, then I wouldn't recommend them using this resource because they have their affairs in order. But for a lot of small businesses, they don't answer yes to all of those. And so typically what's easier, Helen, is to say, well, you know what? Let's leave that business alone. That business that you have, it's fine. Let's not touch it. Let's form a new business. Let's hit the reset button. Let's form a new business for the specific purpose of the capital raise. And we'll use this plan for the new business. So we'll get the unique commercial address. We'll get the entity file, the Secretary of State. We'll get the EIN number. We'll get a bank account open. So that's typically what will happen, Helen, when you have an entrepreneur that has an existing business, is usually instead of trying to change everything, they will, quote unquote, hit the reset button and just set up a new entity that will use the business address. They don't have to. They could certainly move it. They could move their current business over, but that's more paperwork and expense. And really, when we're looking at only $25 to form a new corporation in Texas, I don't know that it would be worth the hassle and headache of moving that prior entity when for $25. And I mean, if they don't have $25, maybe you can throw in half and I can throw in half and we'll just form an entity for them. But the bottom line is, most of the time, they'll either be a brand new business, not meaning a new entrepreneur, but a new business idea, or we'll just set up a new entity for the capital raise that meets all these compliance guidelines. Hopefully that was helpful. And Warren's asking a good question on the application fee. And so I'll tell you how we protect you. So What we're going to say to the world is the normal application fee is $500. That's the normal. But you can work with the referral partner that you're visiting with and find out if there's any promotions, any specials currently available. So as long as you're not charging more than $500, they're not surprised, and we frankly don't need to know how much you charge, because let's say you charged them. What a lot of people will do, and I think this is Reggie's plan, is he'll say, well, normally it's a $500 application fee, but how about this? If you can get started today, I'll cut that in half for you. So Reggie just puts a quick $250 in his pocket. The client has some urgency, takes action right away. Client feels like they got a good deal. So it's up to you what you want to charge. If you charge more than 500, then our stories may not match up. But as long as you've charged 500 or less, then they're just feeling that they got a better deal. And you might say, well, we have a promotion for women-owned businesses, $100 off. That's available through the end of July. So coming up with promotional pricing that makes it more relevant to them is smart. But you need to set an expiration on it, not where you feel like a used car salesman, but you want to motivate action sooner or later. So you could say, well, for veteran-owned businesses in the month of July, we actually have $100 off. Is that something that you'd like to take advantage of? Now, maybe you offer that again in August because it's a new special that was announced. You know, businesses and retailers, car dealerships, and so forth, they have specials that are month to month. And so maybe it's going to continue on, maybe it won't. So you don't want to lie or mislead, but you want to create some urgency to get people to sign up. Or let's say that you really want that $500 application fee because you're doing 2 of those a week, Leo, and then you're making $1,000 a week just from this. And they said, well, Leo, you know, that sounds fair, but I don't have 1,000. All I have is 500 right now. Maybe you say, well, all right, we'll split it up. How about that? Give me half the application fee today, 500, and how about the other half in 30 days? So again, that is completely up to you. You all are managing the application fees and retaining all of that. And that's correct. So we're not splitting. If you're a white label partner in good standing, no, then we can do a revenue share, 50-50 revenue share, of course, of the 99. If you're a white label partner in good standing. Otherwise, there's not a revenue share from that. But I mean, if you're making 500 or whatever you want up front from the app fee, I don't think that's a bad deal for you. All right, so Scott's asking, so yes, we're having in-person train the trainer trainings on a monthly basis. We don't have any space available for August 20th. We did open up a new session on August 27th. We've had a bunch of enrollments, but we have plenty of seats available. So if what you feel is that you'd really like to sit down and delve deeper into this and into the workshop curriculum and all that, we can certainly do that. We're starting to set up once a month. We're holding it at a country club. We're providing you an awesome lunch. It's a great environment. It's business casual, so it's not stuffy. So if you feel like that you'd benefit from some in-person training to train the trainer, that's available, but it's not required. And then Reggie's asking, I don't understand your question, how do you get to this web page? Well, it's cheap business address. And then again, we've updated the flyer, which will come up here. And the flyer has the URL on it and more details of the Chapman Fund. This is going to be a big conversation starter here because this is unique. You know, anyone can talk about SBA loans or this and that, but there's sometimes specific funding vehicles that's not common knowledge, not available to the general public, that will really get the conversation going. Okay, so I think we covered a lot of information. So with that being said, we encourage you to get active, use this resource site to get up to speed. Use Sales Genie /Reference USA /Data Axle, whatever you want to call it, to find free leads if you need. And we'll be here on a daily basis with our daily Zoom calls to support you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.